Hello, 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 and welcome to the Marketing That Grows Your Business Show. I am Kim Garce, and if you've never been on one of my shows before, would love if you would introduce yourself. Just put hashtag new in the comment area down under, and I'll say, hey. Today, we're going to be talking about leads and how you generate them with other people's communities. So I have a couple of quick questions for you, or more specifically, is this for you? If you are having some of these issues, if you are struggling to generate quality leads, then you are in the right place. If you're on this, I call it the social media hamster wheel, right? You're on that content hustle wheel, but you don't really see the results that you would like to using social media, then you're in the right place. Maybe you don't have your own community yet. You're still out there hustling. You're trying to build community, just getting started, or you've been at it a while, but you haven't seen a lot of success in building a larger community to support the amount of sales that you would like to have in your business. Maybe you don't have a way to generate leads consistently. And this is what I see most frequently for pretty much every business owner out there, is they don't have a consistent way to generate leads. And leads are the lifeblood of our company. If we don't have leads consistently, then we are going to have what I call an up and down business model. It's feast or famine kind of thing. Do you have a way to get those interested in what you have to actually buy your stuff? So if you don't, then you're in the right place. And would you just like to stop worrying about where your next sale is going to come from? Wouldn't that be kind of nice? If that's you, then you are in the right place. So as you guys are coming in, just give me a shout out. Where in the world are you today? I am in Virginia. It is lovely this morning. Probably, I don't know, high 60s here, which has been lovely lately. I can definitely get into this kind of like fall-like weather. Yay, Julie, girl, thank you for saving us. I got my Streamyard sweatshirt on. It's one of my favorite things ever. We've got Pennsylvania in the house. We've got Florida in the house, a little warmer down there. And we've got Debbie from Minneapolis. Hey, Debbie. We got Wendy here with us. I think actually Paul's not new. No, Paul. Thank you, Paul. You're almost always here. Really appreciate that you're here almost every Monday. In fact, I think you might be here every Monday. Always appreciate you. Christine, good morning. Good morning. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So she's self-identifying. She's like, I got some of these problems. I want to know, I need a solution to it. So that's what I'm here to share with you guys today, is a way for you to, tackle some of your core struggles when it comes to lead gen without probably a lot of what you're currently doing. So I'm excited about this because there's 3 core strategies I'm going to share with you that will help you get more leads and sales using other people's communities. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey, Robin. Ooh, he says he's in Canada and it's a little chilly up there. Man, I am sorry to hear that. Oh, goodness. Well, welcome. We'll warm up the biz vibe around here, if nothing else, okay? All right, excellent. We got Danita in the house. We got Stephanie. I'm so glad to see everybody this morning. This is awesome. Okay, so if you know someone that has a business that is not creating the sales that they would like, or if they would like another strategy to get more leads, more quality leads, then tag them, share it out, sprinkle it out into the world, and let's share these strategies with other people. Awesome. Okay, so let me make sure. Got a couple things. We're doing giveaways today, like we do on every show. And I'm excited about today's giveaway because I was talking to Julie, who works over at Streamyard. And we sent her a request first thing this morning. We're like, hey, Julie, would you guys be okay with, we're going to mention you on today's show. Would you be okay with like donating a giveaway? And not only did she like work her magic while trying to get her kid ready for school and, probably making her coffee and all the things. But she's like, oh yeah, I will fix you right up. And she did. So I'm excited because they're giving me the ability to gift you something pretty cool. Okay. So our giveaway today is 2 winners are going to receive a Streamyard swag pack, y'all. So now you won't get 2 t-shirts. You're only going to get 1, but you can choose. You can choose the black one or the white one, and you get Puddles, the stuffed duck. And this mug is incredible. So it's a swag pack with 1 t-shirt, a mug, and Mr. Puddles. Okay. So that's the giveaway for today's show. 2 winners. We're going to draw the winners at the end of today's show. So how do you win? You're going to want Puddles. Okay. I'm just saying. Puddles is, I don't know, like you could just set Puddles pretty much anywhere. Who doesn't want Mr. Puddles, right? Or Mrs. Puddles. I guess it could be a Mrs. Puddles for all I know. But the way you win, we have 3 core ways that you can win the swag pack from StreamYard today. You can share your aha moments in the comments down under. Now, an aha moment is like, I didn't know that. Like, I have to demonstrate an aha moment for you, but an aha is like, just like that. Like, okay, didn't know that. Drop that in with hashtag aha. Or sometimes we just need to hear it again, like, right? If that's your case, then drop in the hashtag aha. And add as many as you want. We enter you into the Wheel of Wow. That's what we call it. As many times as you drop in your hashtag. So you get more entries the more you drop in your aha moments. Hint, hint, hint. You also can tag someone or sprinkle it out, share it out into your community. Would love that, sharing this knowledge with other people. That's another way we'll make sure you get entered into the Wheel of Wow again. And ask questions. We love them. Feel free to ask as we go. I'll try to answer as many as I can. And let's see, just see. So Kelly's saying she loves Puddles. Who doesn't, like, right? But yeah, the swag today is going to be amazing. Like I say, I'm super excited to be able to have the swag available to us and to share StreamYard because StreamYard has a new feature. I'm not going to jump into that right now, but they have a new feature that speaks directly to what I'm sharing with you guys today. So before I dig into the 3 strategies, I thought I would do something that kind of gives you a baseline for why you would even want to use other people's communities. So the big question is, why use other people's communities? Why not just focus on your own, build your own communities, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't build your own communities, but the value of other people's communities is immense. One, there's a whole bunch of your ideal client gathered in one place. So let's just look at this. If somebody has well, let me back up for a second. Basically, when you're getting into other people's communities, you are stepping onto their stage. Okay. So their stage it could look like anything. It could look like a Facebook group. It could look like a blog. It could look like a virtual event. It could be a podcast. It could be a live show. It could be a in-person stage. When I say stage, it's like you're stepping into their world and you have an opportunity to speak or share your message, your value, your expertise in someone else's community, okay? Or on someone else's stage, if you will. So the point is that when you step onto someone else's stage, there's a whole bunch of your ideal person in that one community, in that one Facebook group, in that one audience that you're speaking on their stage, or if they have a virtual event, if they have a podcast, they have a podcast as a listenership, right? A virtual event, they've got people that come to that. If they have a live event, same thing. If they have a blog, they have traffic that comes to that blog, right? People that read their content. So there is a bunch of folks that are your ideal person, as long as you are stepping into a community that serves your ideal person, right? And that's a given. Well, maybe it's not, but I thought I'd clarify that just in case. So that's a value proposition for you. Now, this is where it really gets interesting. You didn't have to gather that herd of people, y'all. You didn't have to work hard to build that audience, that community. You just are able to step into that space. So let that sink in for just a hot second. So if you're out there and you're struggling to build community, and you know how it is, or if you've built a community, it takes time and energy and content and, loving up people. And it can be difficult to build an audience of people that are tuned into your area of expertise. But when you are stepping into someone else's audience, somebody else's community, you didn't have to gather them. You didn't have to work hard to get there. That's kind of a value add, right? But this is where it really is exciting. You don't have to earn the know, like, and trust factor. What? Don't people have to know, like, and trust me in order to do business with me? So how's that? I don't understand that, Kim. You may be thinking that to yourself. When you step onto someone else's stage, and I say stage meaning like any of the things that I talked about, it could be a blog, it could be any time someone is introducing you or putting you in front of their community or their audience, they are passing you their influence. They're passing you the baton. So when someone introduces you on a physical stage, they're saying to their community, well, I'll say any stage, they're saying to their community, listen, I vetted this person. I feel like this person has expertise around, whatever. And I want you to pay attention. I think they have something valuable to share with you. And that is an incredible, incredible gift that they're giving to you in that moment, so that you don't have to work so hard to build that know, like, and trust factor. So when I have spoke, I'll give you a couple of quick examples. A few years back, I spoke on my friend Shalene Johnson's Marketing Impact Academy or a Marketing Impact live event. And just because I know her kind of her value system for putting people on her stage, she's very picky on who she puts in front of her community. And it was an honor that she said, hey, will you speak about whatever I spoke about at that time? But because she's so focused on making sure she puts the right people in front of her community knows that. And they know that whoever she brings and puts in front of them is a quality person, right? And I'm not, tooting my own horn there, but that's true regardless of whatever. It could be a podcast. It could be a virtual event. Those people that you are, that bring you and put you in front of their audience have said, this person is legit. You need to pay attention to this person. So you don't have to work so hard because they're already predisposed to saying yes to your offer, whatever your offer is. The key is you have to have an offer. All right. So those are three values of why we need to step into other people's communities. Now, let's talk about three ways to strategically use other people's communities. Awesome. I'm going to come back and I see some questions here. I'm definitely going to circle back to the questions. I saw a few really good ones here. So hang in there with me. I'll definitely circle back to the questions. So 3 ways to strategically use other people's communities. Now, if you're buying into what I just said, like, okay, that sounds good to me, Kim. You're right. I'm out here hustling. I don't have quality leads. I don't have a big community yet. The things that I'm doing in social aren't working as well as I would like them. Fill in the blank, whatever your situation is. I need to use other people's communities. That sounds perfect. Then the key here is the strategies I'm getting ready to share with you. Anybody can do. They're not anything fancy smancy. They may not even be something you might not know already. You just might not be doing them. Okay. Now, I will say there's probably a few of these that you haven't thought of. So let's dig into them and let's see where it takes us. So the very first one is a very common thing. It's guest blogging. Like, you probably heard the thing. You've probably been like, yeah, everybody talks about guest blogging, but all right, I'm not even blogging on my website. All right, let's dig into that. So why would you want to guest blog on an authority website? I'll say authority, because I don't think you should waste time and energy on websites or approaching websites that don't give you a value add. So let's say you have a friend that is just getting started blogging, has no consistent traffic to their blog. Would that be a good fit for you to spend your time and energy to create a blog for a website that doesn't get much traffic? Maybe not. Now, you might want to do it from a friend perspective just to support them, and that's fine. But what I'm talking about here is getting in front of and writing blog content or guest blogging for authority websites that have an audience of people that are consuming content from that website. So, for example, let's say you are a social media consultant or a social media manager. Who would you try to attract? Who would you try to reach out to in order to get in front of that audience for a guest blog? Well, I would probably reach out to like Social Media Examiner or Social Media Today or any of the top social media blogs that create consistent content. And this is another issue or another key thing to keep in mind. They also are constantly looking for guest bloggers. So that's an opportunity. You just have to reach out and say, I would love to create a blog, give them some value. Here's 3 topics that I would love to share value around, and see what happens. Okay, this is the other thing that you cannot not do in order to make this work for you, okay? In order to make guest blogging work for you, you have to have something of value to drive people to a freebie. I call them ethical bribes that you insert to give value inside of that content. So, and when you do this, you have to pre-plan a little bit. So if you're going to reach out using that same example, I might reach out to Social Media Today for just as a quick example and say, I would love to create a guest blog on your site around LinkedIn, creating how do you optimize your LinkedIn profile? Well, if I was to reach out to them, I have just so happens that I have a freebie around 9 steps to create or optimize your LinkedIn profile. So I would write the blog and I would insert my checklist in that blog so that people would go to my landing page, they would opt in, and then I could start to build my community, my email list off of the back of someone else's audience. Okay, this is why this works. But if you don't do that one strategic thing, then you're probably not going to get any bang off of that strategy. So you have to make sure that you are incorporating your freebie, your ethical bribe, something that's value-based in the same lane as your blog, so that you can get people moved from their audience to yours. Okay. All right. So that's one core strategy. Now, then I will say this before I move on to the next strategy. If you are going to employ this strategy, you also need to make sure that you have a nurture sequence or a welcome sequence or whatever. One of the things that we are sharing or teaching inside of my Authority Creator program is this exact strategy where, people come onto your list, you deliver the freebie, and usually, well, I won't say usually, a lot of people deliver the freebie and then that's it. They don't communicate with their person after that, which makes that effort very low value because you're not nurturing that person. It's one thing for somebody to find you on an authority website and realize that you have some expertise, join your list. But if you just drop them like a hot rock, that's not cool. So you have to have a nurture sequence in place that will, one, continue to build out that know, like, and trust factor with that person so that they continue to, I call it just you're loving up on them. And your nurture sequence needs to lead to a sale. If you don't do those things, then you're missing out again on an opportunity. So just throwing that in there real quick. All right. Now, the next strategy that I have for you is a robust strategy, and it's specific, and you may have heard of or thought about this, and other people have touted it, but the way I want to explain it is slightly different. Podcasts. Now, we all know what a podcast is. We've probably listened to them at some point in our lives. I'm an avid podcast listener, so from that perspective, I've probably been interviewed on hundreds of podcasts over the years. And until recently, I had no strategy for that. What, Kim? You didn't have a strategy for appearing on other people's podcasts? No, I let people just bump into me. They'd invite me to be a guest on their podcast. I really didn't have a consistent way to move people from those audiences to my audience with intention and with a strategy that created an outcome for me until recently. So I'm going to share this with you guys. So when you are a guest on someone else's podcast, or and I'll just say, I'll keep it to the podcast lane for now. If you are a host of a podcast, you are always looking for great people. Trying to keep quality people on your show, it's a constant battle. So you're always looking for great people, one. So that means that, guess what? They're looking for you guys. You just haven't revealed yourself to them yet. And so that's an opportunity. That's a great opportunity. Just understanding that you have an expertise that you can share. But from a strategic perspective, the other thing that is a pain point for people when it comes to interviewing their guest is the questions. So if you were to reach out to or have a resource, which I'm getting ready to share with you, a resource where people could find you to invite you to their to be a podcast guest, and you had a list of questions pre-designed or pre-written, and these questions you provide to the podcast host so that they don't have to work so hard about what they should ask you, right? That's one value. And it's super valuable to the podcast host, so they don't have to hustle to figure out what questions they should ask. But the questions themselves, let's talk about that a second. If you were to come up with 10 questions that your person needs to know or needs to believe in order to work with you, what would those 10 questions look like? And then those are the 10 questions that you give the podcast host. Now, what do you think happens when that podcast host asks you those questions? And then the people out there that are listening to that podcast, they're like, okay, that answered that question. Oh, that answered that question. Oh my gosh, that answered that question. And when you get to the end of that podcast, the host asks you, well, which they all do, where can people connect with you, or what's your call to action at the end of that podcast interview? Well, if you'd like, if you have any of the problems that I've talked about today and you'd like to talk, here, go to this website and book a call. It could be that simple. And now you basically turned in your podcast interview into a discovery call. And by the time they get to you, they're way more inclined to purchase. They've halfway made a buying decision. In some cases, they may have already made a buying decision. So, boom. This is a huge differentiator. You're approaching the podcasting space with a lot more intention, and you have a real plan instead of just getting out there and getting in front of other people's audiences. You're trying to move people to a specific outcome using a really defined strategy. Now, I told you I was going to share a resource with you on a website, and there's several of these out there. The one that I recommend, and I'm just going to pull this up real quick, is Podmatch. And like I say, there's several out there. They're basically a matchmaking service. You can sign up for them and have the ability to be found as a guest or as a podcast host. So let's say, for example, you already have a podcast and you're looking for some quality people. You could use this tool for that. But for the purposes of this strategy in particular, in getting in front of other people's communities, sign up, become a podcast guest, and be found on this platform. Now, I have a student in one of my masterminds, and she has had fabulous results with this strategy. She's in the weight loss space, and she's been getting on some really high value podcasts using this strategy. So definitely do the thing, because this works. All right. Last but certainly not least, you guys, is live shows. Now, one of the struggles, well, let me back up before I get into the struggles. Live video, in my opinion, and I've been doing live video since the Periscope days. What is that, 7 or 8 years now? I don't even know. It's been a minute. I have never found anything that builds the know, like, and trust factor faster. So not only are you being introduced to someone else's community on a live show or in a live environment, so that's one value add, but you're also giving people an opportunity to see you, to get a feel for you. Do they like you? Do they not like you? It's one more layer to really build connection with an audience at a super accelerated rate. So live video is incredibly powerful. I would argue that it's probably, even though the audience, depending on how much authority or influence the person that you are connecting with, what size audience do they have, but I think it's more intense, and the connection that you form inside of a live environment it can be a lot stronger. So I'm a huge fan of potentially taking a look into really getting in front of live audiences, so you have that opportunity. When I say live, these days it's not like it used to be. In the early days, people were gravitating in flocks to live video. So you may not have as big of an audience, but the strength of the connection outweighs, I think, the masses, if you will. So I think the lead quality can sometimes be a lot stronger. Maybe that's the best way of saying it. But one of the struggles that I have found when it comes to live video is, well, how do I find somebody who's got a live show that's in my space? I'm not quite sure I know how to go about doing that. Obviously, if you're on my show, right, you can say, well, let me go see if Kim would like to. And by the way, please do. Well, I'm getting ready to share a resource with you, so you can contact me through this resource. How's that? But I am super excited about this new feature that Streamyard just rolled out. It's called a Collab feature. And essentially, let me pull my screen back up here so you guys can see this. It is really clever because it gives you the opportunity to, one, register your live show if you have one. And let's say, for example, like I have my show on here, my new show that's coming, hint, hint. And then I also have a guest profile on here. So as you can see right here, there's a guest profile, and then there's a show profile. So if I'm somebody that doesn't have my own show, but I want to get on somebody's show, I want to find other shows that have specific types of themes, like, business. Like if I'm looking for a business show or a comedy show or education. As you can see, they've got different categories here. If I'm in the health and fitness space, I probably want to get on somebody's show that's got an audience of health or fitness audiences, right? So I might want to check that one. So as you can see, they've got a bunch of categories here. You can choose to click on any of those and be able to find shows, live shows, or live guests if you are looking for a live guest in this same way. So I'm going to just give you a couple of examples, specific examples. If I am having my own show, I'll approach it this way. I could come in here and I could say, well, I'm looking for somebody maybe in the marketing space. Let me look here. Marketing, and I want an English speaker because I don't speak Spanish, or I wish I did. So now it has filtered all of these people out that are in this space, and I could come in here and I could do some outreach. I could take a look at some of these profiles. Let's say Yvonne here, I could come and look at her profile, see what she's all about, and if I'm interested in booking her on my show, I could just send her a little message right here. Boom. So I could find her for my show. Or if somebody is in, likewise, other people can find me in that same way. So if somebody is looking for somebody else is looking for a guest for their live show, they might find my profile and they might be like, okay, here's Kim's profile. This is what she says about herself. I'm going to book her. Now I'm in my own account. So but if it was somebody else, they would be able to reach out to me right within the website here and be able to book me for their live show. So it goes both ways. And then you can also check out their shows because you can, as you can see here, I have a new show coming out soon, but called Authority Creator. View show profile. They can check out my show as well to see, does it make sense for them to be on my show? So lots of opportunity here. You can look at this through the lens of finding guests for your live shows if you have one, or you can also look at this from the perspective of be found and get on other people's live shows. So definitely take advantage of this right now. And this is, there's this old saying that the early bird gets the worm, right? And that there is no more truth in those, or there is a lot of truth in those words, but certainly more so now than any other time. Because if you'll look at the guest, I'm going to I'm going to get rid of all my filters real quick. But this is a new feature that Streamyard just released. And there's only 69 people in here at this point. So there's 69 people who've created profiles saying, raised their hands and said, I want to be a guest on a show. I want to get in front of other people's audiences. Count me in. But only 69 so far. So point is that this is a golden opportunity because as I was going through some of these profiles earlier, some of them don't have their profiles built out, which does it. I'm like, okay, they signed up, but they didn't build their profile out. So I skip over those. So if you're going to do this, make sure you complete your profile. Okay. Because I want to know who you are. I want to know if you are a good fit for my audience, because I'm passing the baton to you when I bring you into my world. Right. So I want to make sure you have the expertise. So make sure when you go through and you sign up for Collab, that you complete your profile. You tell prospective live show hosts what you do, how you serve, what kind of content and value you can bring to their audience. Okay. So make sure you do that. Because like I say, as I was going through some of these profiles, I'm like, yep, no profile, skip. I mean, they've signed up, but that's it, so I can't tell anything about them. But you can use this resource to get in front of other people's audiences that have live communities. And the value too, deeper value, is a lot of these people are creating live video content, and that content is repurposed and is shared over and over and over again. So yeah, I'm just saying, I think this is a great strategy for literally everyone. All right. So, all right, those are my 3 core strategies for you. I'm going to go back and make sure that I answer any questions, because I know we had some questions this morning. Yes, so I just saw a comment here. I have this in a tab since it rolled out, and I need to get my button gear and get my profile up. Yes, you do. Excellent. So Rhonda just said, you guys listen. One of the amazing things, I am an avid Streamyard fan, have been for a long time. You can probably tell I've got the hoodie and the mug. Although since I'm moving, I somehow managed to not bring my mug and it's in storage somewhere. Um, I, I have used it for years now. And one of the things that I really appreciate is their responsiveness and the ability to step in to a community and help in any way that they can. So we have Charles with us today, you guys, the product lead for Collab in the audience. If anybody has any Collab questions, we'll definitely make sure that we answer any of those. So I'm so glad to see that they're here. All right. So Wendy has said, so glad I got on this live this morning. Amazing information. I'm so glad you're here, Wendy. Excellent. Just rolling back through. Thank you, Debbie. It's so good to see you. We need to catch up sometime soon. I know. I'm just sorry I'm having to scroll back a little bit here just to make sure I get all your all's questions answered. Just making sure. Here we go. So Wendy, what platform do you recommend for podcasts for beginners? I probably would I would recommend that you just go to Podmatch and sign up and make sure you complete your profile there as well, y'all. Complete your profile because people will find you on Podmatch. You know, if you have if you build out your profile, a robust profile, and, you know, you share your expertise, you know, what you talk about, whatever it is, then the people that are looking for you that are, like I say, let me hang on, let me show you this. This is a good point and a great question. So let me pull this back up. So as you can see here, Wendy, you can sign up as a podcast host, and there are tons of podcast hosts who do, because they cannot fill their podcast with enough guests or have enough audience outreach to be able to get as many guests as they would want. So they use this tool to find great people to bring into their community. So they're looking for you, in other words. And then you can also sign up as a guest, which would be what I would recommend for you. Sign up as a guest, fill out your profile, and then let podcast hosts that are looking for you find you. Hopefully that answers that question. I tell you, if I haven't gotten to your question, I'm rolling back. So if I miss you or the question doesn't get answered, just drop it in again. I'm happy to hang out with you guys as long as need be. I'm transitioning from entrepreneur to an executive role in a company. Am I in the right place? Yes, you are, Sunny, especially if you don't have your own community yet. This is going to be a really great strategy to get in front of people or audiences that are your perfect person without having to do all the work. All right. Okay. All right. Let me see. Sunny, I don't have a code. They don't truly have an affiliate program over at Podmatch. It's kind of a weird situation, different, not weird. Weird's the wrong word. It's just the way they manage the way they have people sign up is slightly different. So if I refer someone to Podmatch, I think the way they do it is after the sale. They don't do it before. So they don't give out like an affiliate deal, at least that we've been able to figure out so far. So I'm sorry I don't have a super sweet deal for you guys. 7 years ago, yes, on Periscope. Crazy. All right. Oh, excellent. So I didn't know this, so it's a good thing. Julie did mention that the Collab feature is rolling out quick, you guys. So get on their list so that you don't miss out on the opportunity to sign up for this. So I really want to like hammer this home because this is why I'm sharing these 3 core strategies with you guys today. Basically, exactly what is being said right now that I have on the screen. So I'm still looking for my audience. It's been a little discouraging. So if that is you, I want you to like set that discouragement to the side and understand that there are other ways. When you are out there hustling to create community, there's so many lanes today. Like there's like the content and you have to have the blog and the website and the lead gen and all the things. And unfortunately, I always keep it reals with y'all. Y'all know that a lot of times people focus on the wrong things and in the wrong order. And so, for example, lots of times we approach social media as the magic bullet. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get all these people. I'm going to build this community of people, and they're going to buy my stuff. And then there's discouragement when that doesn't happen. And the reality is that most people don't build business foundations first. So they don't have a lead gen. When I say lead gen, that's some sort of value that's free or low cost that people will spend a little money on. And then, building out a nurture sequence for that person. That's a foundational thing. And you need that if you're going to show up in social media. But there's also, like I just shared with you, there's 3 core strategies here that anybody can do that they don't have to have an audience of their own yet in order to affect a connection and start to build out their list, or sales. And this is interesting because if you're going to guest blog, for example, it's a great list building strategy on top of that, as long as you have a great freebie that you can insert into your blog. The podcast or the live show isn't quite as, it doesn't require as much, maybe potentially. So let me explain a very specific example for you. Let's say you have a high value something that you're selling, a high ticket something. Let's say you're a coach. Okay. Maybe you're a life coach or you have a high ticket course, and you're trying to sell that thing. Let's say, I'm just going to give maybe your thing is you help people create masterminds. I'm just going to use that as an example. Your transformation is you help people create masterminds. And so you're going to want to get in front of an audience of people that want to create a mastermind, right? Who are those people and where are they? What podcasts are they listening to? You do outreach to those podcasts if you can, or you use a tool like Podmatch to get in front of those audiences. And your call to action. Now, your strategy is very simple. Your strategy is come up with your 10 questions that people need to know and or believe in order to buy from you. And then your call to action at the end doesn't require a freebie. It just requires a calendar, and you have them book a call to talk to you. You do a sales call. If you can help them, you sign them up. If they're not a good fit, you send them on their way. That is a very simple strategy that doesn't require a lot of tech components. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have a lead gen, I can't do that. Well, one, you need one anyway. So you kind of need to fix that problem. But if you're not there yet, use the podcast strategy that I just shared with you, or, get on somebody's live show. The live show is exactly the same concept. Any show, any stage, let me restate that, any stage where you can get in front of an audience of people that is either an audio audience, meaning a video audience. So even if you're doing a Zoom or some sort of a virtual event or a physical event where you're literally in front of an audience of people, real people. Well, there's real people, obviously, even on Zoom. But point is, you're live and in person with people. This strategy can still work. So there's really no excuse for not employing this strategy, because it's something that you can do and turn very quickly, and it can make you money very quickly. Okay. All right. Yay. Okay. So let me see. Where's our winners here real quick? All right. I know I saw them go by. Here we go. All right. Here's our winners. Wendy and Lisa won the Streamyard swag pack. Excellent. I'm so excited, guys. So go over to kimgarst.com/winner, share your details. We'll get with Julie over at Streamyard. They'll get them all sent out to you guys. Does that sound good? All right. All right. I think I've got all the questions, but I will also circle back after the show is over and make sure that we answer any questions that slipped through the cracks. And we'll make sure that I answer anything that didn't get answered while we were live. All right, guys and gals, thanks so much for spending time with me. I love when I can do these like live trainings. I love having guests too, don't get me wrong. But I do love sharing what I know and what's working specifically that can make more money for you and your business. So thanks for hanging in there with me. Appreciate you guys always spending time with me. I know it's valuable. Time is valuable. And when you spend some with me, I really, really appreciate you. So have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next Monday, same place, same time. And we do have a special guest. Our special guest next week is Lisa Reed. And I'm excited. It's kind of I think we're talking speaking next week, if I'm not mistaken. But this goes right with this, right? It goes kind of hand in hand with this strategy that I just shared is, getting in other people's audiences can be super powerful. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Stay safe. God bless.